Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the nation. It's always a pleasure. It's always a plus talking to you all on this beautiful night. As we just going to talk, man, we're going to go over a few things that what we need to do in order to stay ahead. And although we like way at the bottom, well, second to the bottom of the list, right? I think that the Giants, I don't think that they're going to fold around and turn everything around in the right spots. Looking at their team, it seems like they got the right people in places, but the team is just not going nowhere. And it's just how the Giants look this year. They went out and drafted a Saquon Barkley, and they got a nice, decent tight end. One can argue they got one of the best wide receivers that's in the nation, right? And they hate to win. That's what it looks like for right now. So they're at the bottom of the deal. Then there's our team, the Dallas Cowboys. One can argue the fact that we shot ourselves in the foot several times throughout the games, and we have a quarterback that needs to improve on a lot of things. We can argue those facts, right? We can just sit back and we can argue those facts. And then on top of that, just above us, you have the filthy. They looking like maybe they can turn the corner. I saw some weird stat out there as far as Carson. He's still having the exact same or even better stats that he had last year, but they are not winning. So I don't know whether or not it's a light switch they'd have to turn on. And they're running the ball solid. They got decent defenses out there. So, but they struggled against the Jaguars. So it's kind of a weird fashion for me to say, man. You know, the Redskins is leading the NFC. So it's one of those things, like, it's weird in a sense. Like, right now, it just don't feel good. It feels like right now, collectively, the Dallas Cowboys should be on top of everything, but we're not. So it's one of those things where we're going to have to figure out something. So in order for us to bounce back, we're going to have to figure out whether or not this wide receiver core can actually win on separation. And if Dak Prescott can be responsible of the ball, not fumbling the ball, not turning over the ball. We understand the defense. I saw last night, well, earlier, the Vikings versus the Saints. It looks like they were going to just dominate the Saints. Then all of a sudden, a light switch just turned on. And it was one of those things where they got an interception and they got a fumble, or they was able to step in front of the ball and just make the sacks and things like that to turn this game around, or turn their particular game around. And that's what I saw. You know, although one can argue the fact that our defense the Dallas Cowboys defense is better, but it's all about turnovers, takeaways. And it's just one of those things. I'm going to give a shout out. I'm not live on Facebook right now because I just thought that it would just be too much of going back and forth of adding them. But appreciate the Facebook. I will post this down the line, so I'll watch you guys will have a chance to comment and hit this on Ricochet. Shout out to Money Making Mall for being the first person that's in the chat box. Flows Infinite, thank you for tuning in. John, thank you for tuning in as well. Sand the Man 213, appreciate you, fam. Thank you for tuning in. He called me Billy D. Hard. And thank you that's tuning in on the Twitch and the Periscopes, and those who be watching this channel from here and there and far and everywhere. It's been one of those things. I actually just finished the 2014 video, just like I did the 2010 video of the Dallas Cowboys versus the Titans. And I'm just going back, although it's like two different teams on both sides of the table, but I like to just go back and just look at older games. Let me know if there's something that you guys still like to do too. When I post those old clips or what have you of what the team looked like back in those days. And another thing, another house ruling too. I posted earlier a video of Jason Gary going to the baseball game, and well, I didn't post a video. I just agree with Jimmy Johnson. I got a lot of hate mail, and my admins on Facebook hit me up and said, "Hey, we're gonna have to ban this person. We're gonna have to ban that person," and it's rightfully so, guys. Just be responsible. Be careful of your words. I'm not a guy that's a soft guy. I don't have thin skin, but my God, if you putting death threats out there, hey, you know, it is what it is. It's football in a sense. And also, just be respectful. That's all I'm asking for. and I give people tons and tons and plenty of chances. Speak your mind. I love strong opinions, but don't ever let it be personal, because at the end of the day, I'm a man just like you are, or hopefully you are. Or for those ladies out there, and I barely have the ladies come at me, but for those ladies out there, hey, let's just be respectful, keep it clean. If you have a lot of back and forwardness, don't try to get out of character. Try to stay within yourself. Don't let the words of somebody else thinking becomes your reality or what have you. Always try to stay positive. Always try to look at it from a different angle. Just because somebody have a different view, a different opinion, you do not have to really go at somebody personally. And it is what it is. It also will elevate you as a person to hit somebody back with kindness, because that's how you grow in life. We in this world, we go through so much. We struggling with so many other things beyond football. We struggling with so many other things beyond, whether it's financial, whether it's somebody who found out that their uncle, cousin, or auntie got cancer, things like that. We can grow beyond that, nation. And I believe, and I love you guys. At the end of the day, we shouldn't all agree. Can you imagine if everybody, I got 33,000 people on my YouTube, I got over 15,000 on my Facebook, if everybody agree with every word that I say, how good would that be, right? It would be horrible. I wouldn't even want to do this. I love the interaction. I love the different opinions, the different views and things of that nature. I love that. But let's keep it clean. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. But it is what it is. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat box. We're going to get this thing going one way or another, because all of the love and adulations that I have for you guys, I know you have the same thing for the nation. And at the end of the day, I can see and I can read beyond the lines. I know that we just want this team to win. In order for this team to win, you got to look at that thing that's on the back of my TV right now. Jason Garrett. Although, he's not out there making the plays. He's making the plays, but he's not out there tackling physically. He's not out there drawing up the plays and actually running the plays in those fashion physically. But all a leader does is, a leader's supposed to be able to stand high and look far and say, okay, guys, this is the war that we are in. Now, granted, football is shorter than any other sport that's out there. We only have 17 weeks. And you get 1 week as a bye. 17 weeks, that's 52 weeks in a year, right? So if you minus 52 from 17, you getting 35. You can maybe subtract another week. Maybe you can add in the preseason. So maybe you got 30 weeks to yourself to do whatever you need to do in order to get things going in the right direction as far as personal things and things of that nature. And I do know that player acquisition is 365 days out of a year. And yes, my day job is I'm an analyst. Yes, I analyze things, and that's what I'm looking at. When I analyze this particular team, in order for us to get to the right places, we must have to sit back and look where we made our mistakes. Where do we fail? What was our shortcomings? How can we elevate ourselves from this angle to get to the next angle? What moves that we didn't make? I had a similar video about this when the Joneses went, I guess before the season started. It was during free agency period, and they all decided to go to Bahamas. And I had the same type of thought track. I had the same type of, I guess, vicious attack to the nation of, I guess you can say that. And I forgot how bad people were like saying, come on, Law. The Joneses deserve to go to Bahamas, wherever they went. I forgot where they went, but they went to somewhere like the Panama or something like that. And it was during free agency, and they closed down, they shut down everything because they couldn't sign off on anything. And they looked at Tyrann, I think it's Matthews, for the Cardinals. I think he got traded to some team, I forgot. But they was like, to the Texans, I believe. I said, nah, we don't need this guy. We okay. We love our guys. And then another week went by, and there's another player went by, and this player went to this team, and that player went to another team. And it was just so crazy to me, because I was saying to myself, this is the first week of free agency, and this team need to get out there and play. Even if it's throwing off your opposition and saying, okay, I have a good keen eye on this person. And the opposition saying to themselves, like, oh, wow, I don't want I don't want the Dallas Cowboys to get said players. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how I can pay more for this guy. Art of War is one hell of a book. If you guys never read anything, read these books, 48 Laws of Power and read Art of War. Those books, man, can teach you how to just handle life. Life in general. Life is simple, but yet complex. It's amazing to me how, and let me just talk about this, privileges too. You have to earn privilege, and also you have to pay for your privacy, meaning that just because you can study, everybody that's in school or everybody who went to college or what have you, in order for you to walk across that stage before somebody else, you have to got to put in the hard work. Now, I do know that the modern society loves to give everybody participation trophies and things of that ilk. But no, when you want to become summa cum laude, or if you want to graduate in the top 10 of your class, in order for you to do that, you have to put in the work. You just can't graduate top 10 in your class and say, well, I'm going to sit around. I'm not going to study. I'm not going to eat Fruit Loops and I'm going to eat Cheerios all day. No, it don't work that way, fam. Maybe 1 to 2% of people in the world can do that. But in order for you to get that privilege, if your last name being Walker or if your last name being Thomas and you want to walk across that stage and you got over 400 people in your graduate class or graduating class, you have to put in work to be in the top 10% of that particular class. Now, granted, I must say this. Not everybody can graduate in the top 10 of their class. Not everybody can be one of the first people to walk across that stage. Not everybody is gifted, you see. So in order for you to be gifted in certain factors, you have to put in work. Now, I'm not saying that Jason Garrett is not a gifted, not a brilliant person. He went to Princeton or Harvard, whatever school he went to. I think he went to Princeton. I'm not saying that he's not gifted, but there are people, because I was listening and I was reading. I love to read. I read a lot of people's comments. And they were saying, wait a minute, Jimmy Johnson, he went fishing. And I was talking about everybody have reasonings, but results are what matter, right? Results are everything. And they said, wait a minute, Law. Jimmy Johnson, he used to go fishing. There was 1 in 15. I heard he was going fishing. And I said to myself, see, he have a reasoning to go fishing, and that's cool. But the results are what's matter. And if you guys don't ever hear anything else, I'm telling you guys, remember this. You can have a reason for whatever you do in life, whatever you at in life. Part of that reasoning is because of your decisions. Now, with that being said, Jimmy Johnson, he won when he was playing college, right? He played for Arkansas. He actually coached whatever team in Miami. He was coaching that team. I think they won the national championship. And then he went to the NFL. Now, we can call it a calculated move or what have you by going 1 in 15 and getting one of the best draft picks out there. And then also having and bundling all these picks together and trading Herschel Walker. We can call that luck. But there's a saying, when luck falls on you often and more than times than many, then that's the prepared mind, you see. So Jimmy Johnson was a prepared mind. He was a guy that had his reasonings, but his results matter. And if results turn into hardware, and we've been over 20 years of no hardware, and we have excuses after excuses after excuses, and it's the same results, and they are not favorable right now. So all I'm saying is, after this bye week, we have to see some changes, whether it be marginal. We want to see some changes. Cowboys collectively, we need to see these changes. Now, I love what I saw of Amari Cooper's film. I love what I saw of his tape. I love how he got 3 levels of his route. And it's hard, man. I'm telling you guys, it's hard to have those 3 different levels within your route arsenal. Now, with that being said, when you are a technician of your route running, meaning you can go through your first level, then you can go through your second, then there's a 3rd level. My God, he's good out there. But he got a little problem with concentration. the ball bouncing off his hands and things like that. Hopefully, it was just one of those things where he's just not focused enough, because scouting used to always, well, scouting still says this to this day. Sometimes when you've seen it once before, you can see it again. So we saw the separation from Amari Cooper from his first 2 years. Now he fell off the planet Earth his third year, going into his, well, he's going into his fourth year now. We saw him fall off the planet Earth, right? So hopefully he can pair these things together and say, I'm on a new planet right now. Well, I'm on the same planet. Well, I'm in a new stadium, under a new system. And now everybody, I'm the center of attention. And also they have Ezekiel Elliott, who's going to give me that. They're going to try to do the 8 and 9 man front, because regardless of the situation, I think that defensive teams are still saying, well, we don't think that Dak Prescott can beat us with his arm. So they're going to still at least tempt and try that. So the best thing that Dak Prescott can do coming out of this bye is, you don't need a whole plethora of plays out there, believe it or not. When we play football, we call this thing called bread and butter. And sometimes that bread and butter, sometimes you can go right back to that bread and butter. If it works for you, then good Lord, it can work for you. Ask Jerry. Now, of course, I ain't going to call the elites, the Jerry Rice and the Michael Irvins of the world. And the when you saw the other players out there who was able to just get separation and do these certain plays that people can pick up on, well, the quarterback can pick up on and have that chemistry. Maybe that's possible. We saw a little bit of it, believe it or not, in 2016, Dak Prescott to Bryce Butler. We saw that glimpses of it in 2017. So it's possible, guys. It is possible. It's just the fact that right now we got a tall order. He went to Princeton. Thank you, man. I said Penn State or something. So he went to Princeton. Thank you. And University of Miami Hurricanes. Shout out to Jackie Smith for regulating everything that's in the chat box. I really appreciate you. I love you too. So Almighty Bone, shout out to you, man. Thank you for tuning in too. You know, it's always good. Keith and Simon in Christ, thank you. Warpath, man, one of the coldest names on YouTube. Appreciate you. He says Garrett is a 500% coach. Best. What do we expect? I mean, this is the thing with Coach Garrett, and we all know that he's a brilliant guy. He's smart and intelligent. We understand that portion of it. Now, as far as learning and picking up things on the fly, I mean, sometimes we already know when the game come Monday, we already know just the outfit alone. He's going to have that navy blue. Shout out to you too as well. Corville is on my Periscope, man. Appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like button and share the content. We understand that, right? We pick up some things, but it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, you can be into a certain position in your life, and you can say, okay, the way that I'm doing it is the way that it needs to be. And we can get all involved emotionally, but it is what it is, you know. So he's the coach of this team. He's been here for over 10 years, if you add the fact that when he was an OC or offensive coordinator. So Jerry Jones, it's hard for Jerry Jones to go back on his words. I understand where he's coming from. Continuity is everything. We saw it work. We saw it work with the Steelers. They held on to their coach forever and a day, and they never fired him. I think that he actually walked away, and they eventually got to host the Lombardi Trophy. So we can have wishful thinking with this, and when somebody have a prepared mind to be dedicated in certain factors, one thing I can say to give Garrett a pass on this team right here, regardless of the scenario, regardless of the fact, they never let up, they never let them down, they always continue to fight, and I love that aspect of this team. And my God, even as a faithful Cowboys supporter, I'm always going to continue to fight for the Cowboys, regardless of who the quarterback is, who the coach is, who's the owner, because it's just how it is, man. I just never fall away or run away from a fight. I'm always rooting for this team. And I know some of you guys feel the exact same way. Yes, it's not cool right now watching the Redskins. My cousin and my stepbrother, he's a diehard Redskin fan. I'm telling you, he cries when they lose, and I can understand his pain sometimes. But at the end of the day, I mean, good Lord, the Cowboys, we've been waiting for this for a long time, for this team to just have some fashion of being consistent. And if you look at, I think there's a weird stat out there. If you compile all of the win-loss records that we had since 1998 or something like that, we are right at 500. We are right at mediocre, you know, and it's just what it is. Joe's, what's up, man? Trolling, what's going on, man? What it do, my brother? Shout out to you, man. It is what it is. Lincoln Riley for offensive coordinator in 2019. Garrett ain't going nowhere. Flows infinite. Man, that Lincoln Riley, my God, he's a genius. He's a gem. He's an 80s baby. You know how it is. You know, you get these kids, we get these people born in the 80s like me. You get these like creative thinking. Shout out to everybody that's born in the 80s. I'm not trying to shun or sully or denigrate anybody who's born in the 70s or the 90s, but the 80s, we just something different, you know. But shout out to you though. Law, you should shout out Street Money, please. Yeah, shout out to Street Money. First one in this morning, I still don't get a shout out. Street Money, shout out to you, man. Thank you, Miss Jackie, for pointing him out. All right, so we're going to dive into a little bit of Colin Cowherd's show with E.J. Manuel. I like his points of Amari Cooper and the whole situation of why he may have regressed in a sense and why he can pick this thing up. And then we can talk about a few other things. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in to the nation. I'm going to try to hang tight with you guys for a little while, you know, for the night, if that's okay with you all, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Let's just listen in to this right here. I really appreciate all you guys.
For about 6 years since I met him years ago at the other place. Let's bring in E.J. Manuel, former NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
who, by the way, had a very good preseason with the Raiders, and they let you go, which it's interesting. I didn't buy the Gruden stuff. Now,
a little insight to the Amari Cooper. If you guys tune into the herd or what have you, it's a fantastic show. Although I have different opinions, different views of Colin Cowherd, but I'm not going out there and attacking this guy personally, right? But the points that he bring home sometimes are valid in a sense. But let's listen in to him, and then we can go back and forth. I really appreciate everyone.
Stuff. Nothing against John. I know him. Yep. I don't think you can be out of the league for 10 years. The world's changed. You got let go by them. Did you have a feeling that Gruden had just decided coming in you weren't his dude?
A little bit. It was basically myself and Connor Cook competing for the backup job behind Derek, and obviously we both knew that Derek was going to be the guy.
Sure.
I had been the backup the year before, so you know I felt like I had a good chance of earning my job back. But you know I could kind of tell as OTAs, as mini camp, as you know the preseason went on, and I was taking pretty much the third reps in the games or in practice, I kind of felt like I wasn't Coach Gruden's guy. But, you know, for me, I just could control what I could control, and I was just going out there and playing well.
I know John. He's intense. I think he's smart. I don't know if this is going to work because I don't know if players are going to buy into him. Tell me your experience with John. He's a TV personality who suddenly went back to coaching.
I thought he was great. You know, for me as a young quarterback, and still considering young, you know, my 5th year, I was excited to learn from him. Obviously, Coach Gruden was doing a lot with the Gruden QB camps and things like that, so that's where I met him from. But, you know, he was teaching us a bunch, and not just, you know, necessarily X's and O's, but also the nuances of being a quarterback and, you know, how to have, you know, the moxie to talk in the huddle and things like that. So that part was awesome. Now, obviously, when I got let go, I was obviously upset because it put me behind the 8 ball. I didn't get a chance to get on with another team. But, you know, as far as working with him, you know, one-on-one, I thought it was great.
EJ, let's talk Derek Carr. He had a rough rookie year, came back good with Del Rio. Then he's kind of struggled since. You know, there's the moment he gets hurt. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, they're going to talk about Derek Carr and his frustration, his struggles that he had with, I guess, Amari Cooper and what they can see what needed to be improved on and things of that nature. So that's what they're talking about now. And then I'm going to go back and forth, and we're going to see what this team can do going in after the bye.
As honestly as you can say it, do you think he's a 10-year franchise quarterback? If so, why? If not, why?
Right. I think he is. Main reason being, you know, Derek has all the intangibles that you need to be a long-time starting quarterback in the NFL.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about off the field. You know, obviously he's been a great player on the field. He's put up numbers. He's had a chance to grow, and I think that's the best thing that the Raiders have done for him. You know, being that they took him in the second round. I think 2014 they allowed him to have those growing pains, right? But you know, sometimes it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. You just said it. Quarterback in the NFL is the hardest position in the game, and obviously he's going to take all the bullets because they're 1-6, 1-7, whatever right now. But I do think he has the moxie to be a long-time quarterback.
Do guys respect him?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think
now there was a report last year.
Right.
Now I should note, I think this is really hard. He's a Christian kid.
Right.
You know, the whole flag issue, the kneeling issue, it was tough for everybody.
Yeah,
I'm not blaming anybody.
Of course.
Okay, it was tough for our network.
Right.
There were reports that he had ticked off a few dudes in the room.
Yeah.
Are those true?
I think so. You know, in that moment, I remember that it was before we played the Redskins.
Yes.
And that was the week President Trump was saying what he said, and obviously we all felt away. And so, you know, it kind of put Derek in a position where it was hard for him to, you know, say, hey, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. It was almost like he had to pick sides.
Yes.
And he tried to stay as neutral as possible. And I think that might have rubbed some guys the wrong way. But I've been in that position. I've been a starting quarterback in that league before, and I know it's extremely hard. You know, you can't please everybody. And Derek is the kind of guy, like you said, he's a Christian guy, so he's going to be himself. But at the same time, I don't think guys always want to hear necessarily the politically correct thing to say.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where it was hard for him.
I think it was hard for everybody.
It was hard for everybody. It was uncomfortable, honestly. It was extremely uncomfortable, and I felt like that game is where our season kind of fell off the road a little bit last year. You know, we got beat pretty bad versus the Redskins, and I felt like that was somewhat of a distraction that we had to face, you know, going into that game.
I like E.J. Manuel joining us. I like the Amari Cooper move. Now, is he worth a first-round pick? Well, wide receivers now are really valuable because they're changing all the rules for offense.
That's true.
I liked him out of college, and I liked him his first couple years, and then there have been a little bit of statistical regression. People like he doesn't love football, and part of me thinks maybe it's the dysfunction of the Raiders a little bit. Sometimes.
Yeah, when they say when people say that Amari Cooper just don't love football, that brought up a lot of red flags for me, because the first person I thought about was Rolando McClain, number 55, that played for us back in the days in 2014 and 15 and what have you. Seems like forever, right? 2014 seems like forever. It's 2018 now, right? It's a long time. So those things I had big reservations on with Amari Cooper. It seems as if, though, right now I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on some type of wood somewhere. I hope you guys are too. That maybe just a change of scenery, guys, can flip everything around. And E.J. Manuel gave us a little manual of what happened to the Raiders last year. We know with the divide in the locker room, just never know how those things can come to play. But I think that this locker room, believe it or not, is a stronger locker room. I think that Dak Prescott, now him in the temperament of the Carr for the Raiders, maybe they have the same type of off-the-field intangibles that Emmanuel was just lamenting. But hopefully that when he comes into this new area, and the media and the locker room presence and how they can uplift the young brother Amari Cooper, hopefully that it can just turn on a light switch and he can just be back to those graces that we saw in 2015 and 2016. That Amari Cooper, 2015 and 2016. Hopefully he can turn the corner. He was drafted in 2015, so that seems like yesterday, guys. So hopefully he can bring those things back up. But let's listen back into Colin Cowherd and see what they have to say.
Sometimes it's funny how guys go to certain teams and they pop,
right?
Because like it's a better organization.
For sure.
Tell me what Amari does. You've thrown to him.
Yeah. Tell
me the strengths of Amari Cooper.
Oh man, extreme speed, awesome jumping ability. He's strong. Amari's a big guy. I think guys see that he's so fast that they forget that he's actually, I would say, 220, 225 pounds and, running a 4.3. So I think Cooper's a great receiver. I think the Cowboys did, an awesome thing for themselves and their offense, and really for Dak to give him basically a number one threat at receiver now with Coop. I think he's the kind of guy that he imposes, a mismatch every time he goes up against a DB.
Do you think he's? Some have suggested he's a better slot than a sideline receiver. What do you think?
I could see him doing well in the slot, mainly because he's going against nickels. He's not going against necessarily
the best corner.
The best corner. And I'm not saying that Coop can't go against the best corner, the Jalen Ramseys of the game, who's I think is one of the best corners in the league. But I think him in the slot, he's so shifty that he can still do the ins and outs of a slot receiver, almost like a Beasley, but he can also go outside too. So that's why I say he poses so many different mismatches, for defense.
Boy, that boy got me crunk right now, boy. I'm telling you, man. He threw to him, although E.J. Manuel is not like the best thing since sliced bread. But my God, don't you guys feel a little crunkness? You know what I mean? Oh, I'm geeked up, man. You can move him inside, meaning you can play him like the slot guy. Maybe you can play him into the opposite side of the slot. You can move Cole Beasley out as the flanker. Man, you can do so many things. And then on top of that, you can insert him as the X, or you can move him around as to the wide receiver or the Z. Man, there's so many things. Well, it is the flanker too. So there's so many things that you can do when a guy can have 3 levels of his route running just hands down. Nice. Our only reservation will be can he catch the ball when it gets there, and then also, of course, when Dak Prescott throw the ball, can it be somewhere in the proximity? And I think so. I really think so. Let me know down below. Before I just jump back into the video, let me see who all we have here, man. I really appreciate you guys. Like I said before, I love you all. It's always a pleasure. Almighty Bones, Dak actually won us a game by himself, practically. Yeah, he did that. He showed that. Savage Time, what's good, man? Shout out to Savage Time that's in the chat box, man. You guys go follow Savage Time. Dark Knight 3215, want Dak to play better. Go 5 wide. Oh, yeah, that would be nice. And it's possible now. Whoever they bring up, I guess, to insert in. I don't know if Deontay Thompson is that guy, but that can be a speed package now. You can send vertical routes up and have one of those guys to come back as a button hook, because you can line them up on all 3 sides now when Tavon Austin get back. Oh, good. You can line Deontay Thompson. You can put Amari Cooper out there, and then we already know what Tavon Austin can do. And then you can have Cole Beasley. Now, this is the thing. Now, if you're going to go that look, if you're putting Dak Prescott under center, believe it or not, man, I'm looking at Dak Prescott throwing the ball under center. I think that brings in a better element for him, believe it or not, versus passing out of the shotgun. Because when he line up under center, I think the defense thinking, okay, this is going to be the classic rollout play. I like Dak Prescott coming out of the 3-step drop, 1, 2, 3, and the ball come out. I like that play versus when he's in the shotgun look. He just tends to hold on to the ball just a hair too long. So hopefully during this bye week or during this off week or what have you, that he picked up a few things that Amari Cooper likes to do best, and Amari Cooper telling Sanjay Lyles, this is what I need to work on a little bit better, or Sanjay Lyles picked up some things that he need to work on a little bit better. And we can see the emergence of number 13, that is Michael Gallup's, and also the Amari Cooper. It could be nice, man. It could be really nice. Blue Star, salute to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Jackie Smith, really appreciate you. Cedric Law. Cedric. Oh, yeah. Who's Cedric? Let me know. Cedric Law. Okay. I love that name, Cedric. I love that name, the Law. I love that. L-A-W at the end of your name. Dak and Amari is working together during the bye week, and the wide receiver coach. So all 3 of those guys are working together. I like that. Let's listen into what they have to say.
For defenses and defensive coordinators.
You know, it's funny. I've been tough on Dez, and I've been tough on Odell Beckham. But I love Julio Jones, because I have this belief that when you're a young quarterback in this league, sometimes star receivers, you don't even admit it, but you feel like you owe them looks.
For sure.
I thought Dak kind of felt like, oh, God, if I don't throw to Dez, he's going to freak out.
Right.
And I felt Eli felt that last year. Right. Like, I owe this guy. Is Amari demanding? Will he be get me the ball guy? Is he high maintenance? Do you worry about that?
I don't think so. He's not high maintenance at all. One thing about Coop, he's just going to do what he needs to do to be ready to go. Be ready to play on Sundays.
Quiet?
I think, yeah, he's very quiet. Now, obviously, he will communicate with you. Obviously, he spoke to Derek as far as when we were in practice more because DC was the starter. But I do remember when I started versus the Ravens last year, he and I had a bunch of communication the week before the Wednesday to Thursday practices, making sure that we were on the same page. And so, yeah, I mean, Coop is a very laid-back guy. That's just him naturally. So I don't think that's a knock on him. Obviously, that's his personality. But I think when he gets the ball in his hands, that's when he lights up.
Mitch, I said Mitch Trubisky reminds me of Dak.
Right.
Is that I want to see him run 7 to 8 times a game. And if they get hurt, they get hurt. Right. But they're both they got a Russell Wilson build to them. Yeah. I mean, you're thinking they can take. I don't want to see Josh Rosen or Jared Goff running or Matt Ryan. Right. We're seeing now a lot of college offense move into the NFL. Right. I just have started noticing it. When did you feel that was happening?
Well, even when I was a rookie, I think they try to implement some things that I did at Florida State, whether it's the zone read, the run-pass options that the Eagles do a bunch with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. And obviously it's productive. You know, I think quarterbacks now, we're more elusive. I don't think 20 years ago, you didn't really see too many guys that could take off and run. Even like watching Deshaun last night, look at all the plays that he made with his feet.
Yeah,
I mean, he's almost unstoppable once he gets out of the pocket. And he can still, beat you in the pocket. And I think Dak is the same way. So, to me, I felt like 10 years ago, that was a bad thing when you said a quarterback could run. But now I think it's almost a positive thing.
By the way,
yeah, that's good stuff right here, man. Really appreciate everybody. I think that that's all of the Dak Prescott talk that they was going to talk about, and then they went on ahead and started talking about Baker Mayfield and how good of a player he is. So with that being said, man, that is cool, man. That is cool to listening in to like E.J. Manuel, a guy that passed the ball to Amari Cooper, who understands the team that was inside the locker room last year for the Raiders and things of that nature. Hopefully E.J. Manuel can find a team. He seems like he's a very poised and an intelligent guy. Hopefully he can land on his feet and find a team. I think that he lamented the fact that he was released a little too soon before he was able to get an opportunity, because a lot of times when you're a quarterback and you're not proven, teams would like to see you in training camp before they can just pick you up and say, okay, come on to this team. But neither here nor there. I love that. I love everything I heard from the Colin Cowherd show about Amari Cooper. Now, these are just words, right? So we have to see a little bit something more tangible out there on Monday night. I always love to do this. Guys, give me your predictions of, and I know it's soon, but give me your predictions of what type of product he will be out there. Amari Cooper is what I'm speaking on. I want to know what you guys have in mind and things of that nature. Shout out time to everybody that's here. This is Dak for... let me see. Young Wilson, shout out to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Hawaii, Honolulu, thank you for being in part of this show. Produced by Jerm, man. Thank you for tuning in as well. Who else we got? Christopher, thank you. Rodriguez, A+. Yes. So it's one of those nights, man, where football is over with for the night. We saw the LA Rams. They are the truth. They knocked out the Green Bay Packers. I always love when a team beat the Green Bay Packers. And guys, don't forget to shout out my papa-law, because my dad, he's a diehard Green Bay Packer fan. And why we have all these different fans out here in Mississippi, I don't know, because I guess we don't have a team. So I always been rooting for the Cowboys since I was born almost. And he been rooting against the Cowboys. You know how that go. Cole Gallup, Amari, Dark Fortnite. I can't even say your name, man. I'm going to have to give you a nickname. 3215. I'm going to give you a nickname. GG, what's good? I feel EJ wasn't really given a chance. He has the talent. GG. Yeah, he do have some talent, man. I liked him coming out of college. He played for Florida State. So I think that I think he played for Florida State. I might be off. I think he did, though. I think he still has some talent, left in him. If not, he can be one hell of a backup quarterback that you can put into a pinch and make some moves. Studwood, thank you for tuning in from the Periscope. Appreciate you guys. Go follow Studwood's page there. Chase the GOAT. I want Green Bay to win that game. Yeah, yeah, it would help out in certain factors if we were kind of close to them, but yeah, the Rams are doing their thing. Also, I think I already mentioned that the Saints won tonight. They're explosive. We got to play them in a few weeks, and they are nightmarish because they got defenses. They got defensive front. They got some crafty, and I'm talking about crafty cornerbacks who jumps and make plays on the ball. And then on top of that, we already know who Drew Brees is. They're number 9. Good Lord, we already know what he can do. And Michael Thomas, shout out to the Thomas, man. That's crazy, man, what they can do. And it's just going beyond paper now. And I didn't even mention Amari Cooper. Not Amari Cooper. What's the running back for the Kamara? I think his name. They got a Kamari. However you say this man's name, number 41. Number 41 is nasty. Number 22 is nasty. The Saints are loaded. Shout out to Young Wilson for making the donation to help grow the nation, man. I really appreciate that. Draymond Green, what's good, man? Yeah, man, I miss Dez. Yeah, Dez is gone, man. Dez is gone. Jackie Smith said, you are welcome, folks. Each week, Cowboys interview 2 players. Yes, they do. Brad Sham and Taylor Stern. Yes, I think it's somewhere at one of their locations. Yes, indeed. Kamara. Yeah, I'm calling this man Amari, but Kamara. Yeah, Chase to go, man. Appreciate you, man, for putting that down in the chat box. 5-2, bruh. The Mad Mexican. The Redskin fan up in here, man. Hey, shout out to you guys. Y'all on top of the mountain right now. You better stay there now. Better try to figure out a way to stay there. It's not cold yet. It's finna get cold. It's finna get cold. So we're going to see whether or not Alex Smith can still pass the ball in the cold weather. We're going to see, you know. And if Adrian Peterson, who found the fountain of youth, can he stay healthy and things like that. And I want, this is what I want. I want you guys to be completely healthy when we play you all. I think we play you guys on Thanksgiving. So I do know that you guys had a few players that was injured. So hopefully we can play a full-fledged Redskins team and we'll see who the real deal Holyfield from there. Let me see right here. Blue Star, Eagles, no Valen, Mandra. Yeah. Yeah, the Eagles, no way. Almighty Bones, the record doesn't reflect how they suck. This is Almighty Bones. Yeah, man, he laying it down over there, man. So, with that, Moolah F. Pay Me. Man, what's good, man? It's been a long time since I seen your name in the chat box, man. I really appreciate you for being here in the mix. Guys, I do have a podcast. It's LAW Nation. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Join the notification squad. Tell a friend, a foe, or anyone out there that you know this guy that talks Cowboys here and there pretty much almost every day. And he jumps in and he talks. And although it may seem grim in certain times, I'm always trying to be positive. I want people to understand this right here, that we I always use this analogy, and you can use it too. A prize fighter, even when he's losing, he's still swinging, he's still fighting, and he always keep his head high, you know. So at the end of the day, nation, we may feel like we at the bottom of the bottom, right? But we can still turn this thing around. I don't think that the Eagles look like they're just on this path of just being unbeatable. I don't think that the Redskins, I see you, Mad Mexican. I don't think that the Redskins are showing us a dominant team like the LA Rams or what we saw from the Saints or anything like that. So this division, and I'm not even going to talk about the Giants. Come on now. They're in the battle of trying to get to the first pick of the draft, and they already probably got their eyes set on Justin Hubert, or they already got their eyes set up on somebody to make their team better for next year. So they playing for next year. We trying to get this thing in for this year, one way or another. Ain't this right, Simon? Yes. And who else we have over here, man? Junkyard Dog. Yes, ain't this right? Shout out to you, man. 3215, man. Law, stop with the Deontay stuff. When I say 5 wide, 3 wide receivers: Cole, Amari, Gallup, Rico, Schultz, and sprinkle in some Jarwin here and there. Hey, don't forget about Jamez Olawale. Out of those Rico and Schultz And Jarwin, Jameer Olawale runs a better route. And my God, guys, where look for me. Help me find this guy. Rod Smith, where he been? What happened? What happened to him? You know, what happened to Rod Smith, man? Bring him in. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Give Ezekiel Elliott a spell when he getting stopped at the line for -1 for -1 yard. Maybe bring in the big bruiser. That's why I wanted Bo Scarborough to be out there, although he couldn't make the team for Jacksonville Jaguars. But you know how sometimes when you're playing high school football, the first guy, or college, some small D-League college, some smaller colleges out there, when you have that first guy to get off the bus and you say, man, I don't want to hit that guy all day. At least have Bo Scarborough to be that guy, right? Yes, indeed. Urban Family, man, what's good, man? Thank you for tuning in. Esto, thank you for tuning in as well. Guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up, but I really appreciate everybody for tuning in to the nation. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for, you know how that goes. Or if another thing that I always say, when you're up against the struggles, meet it squarely face to face, lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fall. You may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim, but don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If worse is bound to happen in spite of all that you do, remember, running from it will not save you. See it through. Even hope may seem but futile, then with trouble may be beset. But remember, you facing what other legends have met. Can I name them, like the Starbars of the world, the Rodgers, you know what I'm talking about, the Troy Aikmans, the Drew Pearsons of the world, those type of guys that go through these same situations that we went through, the Emmitt Smith, the Michael Irvins, the Jay Novaceks, the Moose Johnston, and those guys, the old brothers from the old days. You know how I'm talking about this thing, right? But you just got to stand firm and fight and still stay upright and say, guys, whatever you throw at me, I'm going to still fight. And that's what this mantra should be about with the Dallas Cowboys when you put on that silver and blue. Yes, yes, indeed. That should be the mantra all day, even twice on Sunday. Let's get this thing going, Jackie Smith. Yes, I love you too. LOVE the nation, baby. Yes. Let's go, baby. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. Yeah, follow that page, man. Follow that Facebook page. Hit that Twitch up, baby. Let's go, baby. Josh, I see you, Skinner. Let's go, baby. Good night, everybody. Let's go, nation. It's all good. We're going to find a way to get this thing going back one way or another. Let's roll with it. Let's roll this thing. Let's continue to stay positive. Let's go, baby.